Hi folks, for today's adventure I thought we would go to the heron rookery that's behind my property. Turns out the word rookery can be used for more than just parts of the crow family. It can be used for other animals, most particularly birds, and in this case herons. That's a good thing because when I try to use the more precise word heronry, it sounds like I'm about to start hunting rabbits. So let's get going and engage roast beef. Okay, so here we are at the edge of the Beaver Pond. You can see, you may be able to see a little bit anyway, there's two nests. There's a tree that's on a slant, which is the closest one to us. There's a nest there. And right behind that, well, not right behind it, but off just a little to the side, there is a nest with a heron sitting in it. There are two herons in the trees on the far bank that at least one of them came out of that nest as I came down here. I don't want to spend too much time here in sight anyway, because if there are eggs in the nest, I don't want to leave them without birds sitting on it for too very long. But there's the beaver dam over here. I don't know if we can get too close to it. I mean, it runs along here, and then there's a thing at that end. See over there, there's a large tree and a kind of a tan box that looks like a bird nesting site for like bluebirds maybe, that someone has put there. And I can't tell if there's more nests further up the pond or not. Can't really tell from here, but in the past we've been 3 or 4 on this side, and as I mentioned, there's 2, or at least 2 that I can see. So let's go back. I'm going to show you the equipment that I'm going to hopefully be able to use to get some video, close-up video of the herons. So I've got it laid out here. First is the Celestron spotting scope that gives you a close-up view. The next important component is the Celestron digital camera adapter. This attaches with this clamp here to the well, attaches this way actually, to the base of the spotting scope, and then you use this piece to put a digital camera on, and you can move that around, you can move it up and down, side to side, wherever gets the viewfinder of the camera lined up with the spotting scope. Now I've used that before with the Olympus camera, and that camera is 20 years old. It's 3.3 megapixels, and I mean the photos are okay. The video from it though is pretty pixelated compared to modern standards. So what I'm going to do is, or what I'm going to try to do anyway, is use my Samsung Galaxy S9 phone with a camera built in, and I'm going to use the clip-on piece for the Manfrotto mini tripod, which is this part right here. This has an adapter to screw in. So this screws in right here, this expands, you can stick your phone in there and it holds it relatively well. My particular case is a little bit rounded, so it doesn't fit in there quite as well as I would like, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to try to set that up and try to get things lined up so I can use the phone as, both a viewfinder and then once you have something worth looking at to make a video of. So I am, and I do have a tripod back here. Hopefully, if I sit back there, the herons will come back to the nest. So let me experiment with that, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, so we've got the camera attached to the scope, spotting scope, and we're focused on the nest. Probably use a little bit focus. It's all very sensitive. So that's not too bad. I do have the phone camera zoomed in so it focuses on the viewfinder. Oops. Or trying to anyway. So if there were a bird there, I think we'd be able to see it pretty well. So I guess actually I'm going to stop this and then try to focus on the further nest that does have a heron sitting in it. Okay, so there's the second nest with a heron sitting on it. I think that's relatively clear. Unfortunately, the clamp sits across the video screen, so I can only see part of it. but I do see the top of the heron sticking out and the tree next to it, which seems decently sharp. The camera is not touching the viewfinder of the scope, and I think I've got it all the way down. So I don't know if I could get a better picture. If it were closer or not. But that does give you a little bit better view, I think, than the Olympus, because the Olympus is like a 2-inch screen maybe. So that further heron doesn't seem to be sitting, just standing in the nest. So perhaps they haven't actually laid eggs yet. I have seen the other two herons flying around a little bit. I'm not sure where the one is, but the other is off to the side in a tall dead tree at the edge of the far edge of the pond. All right, I'm focused on that closest nest again, and I'm going to leave the camera running and go back up the hill a little bit and see if one of the herons comes back. All right, well, we'll see what showed up on the video stream. Oh, heron is sitting on top of the tree where the nest is, just out of sight. There it is. And I moved the camera so it's not showing up great. It seems like it's fairly well focused. You can see a couple feathers sticking out the back of its head. And I don't remember if I said this, but I had walked down the other end of the pond, and there are at least 3 other nests. The herons were flying around, so I couldn't get an accurate count